The marble steps of Arlington glowed under the late morning sun, but the crowd was silent, so silent that even the breeze seemed to hold its breath. Cameras lowered, children stopped fidgeting. A hush moved like a wave as one man, balancing on prosthetic legs, approached the tomb of the unknown soldier. His name was Sergeant Daniel Hale, a decorated Army veteran who had lost both legs in Afghanistan. For months he had practiced this walk, painful, slow, uneven, just to stand here today. But every step felt heavier, as if ghosts of fallen friends were holding his shoulders. Daniel paused, breathing hard. Sweat gathered at his brow. His metal legs clicked softly on the stone, an unnatural sound in a place where even footsteps were sacred. And then something happened that made the entire crowd lean forward. A tomb guard, rigid and precise, suddenly broke formation. Everyone gasped. Daniel had never planned to come here. For years after the explosion that took his legs and his closest friend, Corporal James Franklin, he refused to attend military ceremonies. Each reminder twisted a knife he couldn't pull out. But James's mother had called him last month. Her voice had trembled through the phone. "Danny, James always said you'd visit Arlington for both of you one day." That quiet request had carried more weight than any order he had ever received. And so Daniel trained. Every morning before sunrise, he strapped on the prosthetics, pushed through the pain, and forced himself to walk farther. But no workout prepared him for the emotional gravity of this place. The white marble tomb stood before him like a solemn guardian of hundreds of untold stories. Stories like James's. His prosthetic knee locked for a moment. He stumbled. A soft murmur rippled through the crowd. Still, Daniel pushed forward, refusing help. He hadn't come this far to be carried. Tomb guards are known for their discipline. So strict, not even natural disasters sway them. They do not break ceremonial posture. They do not act outside routine. They do not acknowledge the crowd. But today was different. As Daniel steadied himself, the silent figure of the tomb guard, impeccable uniform, polished shoes, face stone still, took one deliberate step toward the struggling veteran. Gasps, confusion, awe. The guard stopped exactly 2 feet from Daniel. With a voice firm enough to command soldiers, yet gentle enough to cradle grief, he spoke words rarely heard during active watch. "Take your time, Sergeant. You've earned this walk." Daniel froze. His throat tightened. For a moment, he couldn't breathe, much less speak. The guard then did something even more unprecedented. He lowered his rifle, turned his body fully toward Daniel, and gave a slow, deliberate salute. A salute offered not as ritual, but as respect. The crowd erupted, not in noise, but in emotion. Some cried. Some placed hands over their hearts. Some bowed their heads. Daniel felt his knees shake, not from weakness, but from the overwhelming sense of being seen. With renewed steadiness, Daniel approached the tomb. The guard remained respectfully nearby, allowing the veteran's faltering steps to dictate the pace. Daniel reached into his pocket and took out a small, battered dog tag, the same one James wore on his last day. He placed it gently at the base of the tomb. His voice cracked as he whispered, "For you, brother, and for every soul who never made it home." A breeze stirred, rustling the trees like a soft applause. Daniel straightened the best he could. Without thinking, his body, remembering years of training, snapped into a salute. It wasn't perfect. His hands trembled, his metal legs wobbled, but it was the salute of a man who had given everything he had. And then the tomb guard moved closer, stepping in beside him. For a brief moment, against every rule, the guard stood shoulder to shoulder with Daniel, saluting the tomb together. The symbolism struck everyone watching. A soldier who never stopped serving, standing beside a guardian who never stops honoring. As Daniel turned to leave, the tomb guard whispered something that only he could hear. Your brothers would be proud. Daniel felt warmth flood through him, comfort he had long thought impossible. For years, he believed he carried his grief alone. But this moment showed him something powerful. He wasn't alone. He never had been. The crowd parted, giving him space not out of pity, but out of honor. People wiped tears as he passed. A child saluted. A veteran placed a hand over his heart. Someone whispered, "Hero." And Daniel walked, steadier now, not because the ground was easier, but because his spirit was lighter. When he reached the edge of the plaza, he glanced back at the tomb. The guard had resumed his post, every movement sharp and precise, as if nothing had happened. But everyone there knew they had witnessed something rare, something human beneath the uniform, something sacred in the silence. A moment where duty bowed to compassion. A moment where a veteran walked again, not just on prosthetic legs, but on the strength of honor, brotherhood, and the invisible ties that bind soldiers across time. And long after the crowd left, long after Daniel's footprints faded from the marble, the memory of that salute, shared between a wounded warrior and a silent guardian, echoed through the hearts of all who witnessed it.